Hello, welcome to your another business studies class. And in today's class, we will be looking at another exciting topic, the reception office. The reception office. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to describe a reception office, then identify the documents handled by a receptionist in the reception office. Then explain the use of each document handled by the receptionist in the reception office. We start by looking at the definition of the reception office. How do we define or describe a reception office? In one of our videos, we looked at who a receptionist is, and we said a receptionist is someone who is employed into the organization to receive and attend to visitors. So a reception office now is the office or the place or a room within an organization where all visitors are received and attended to. Remember, we said the receptionist's duty is to attend, to receive and attend to visitors. These activities are carried out in the reception office. It is a place within an organization where all visitors who have called in to see any staff or anybody in the organization, where they are received and where they are properly attended to by the receptionist. It is a room that is always beautifully and attractively furnished. And the essence of this is to make the visitors feel welcomed. The room is beautifully designed with comfortable seats, comfortable chairs. The environment is beautified with flowers. The environment is clean and cool, ready to receive visitors. And this office is basically the first office that the visitor enters when he or she enters the organization. That's the reception office is that room or that place where the visitor enters for him or her to be attended to by the receptionist. While the receptionist is in the reception office carrying out our duties or his or her duties, we want to look at some documents that are meant to be handled by a receptionist in the reception office. We have 4 documents handled by a receptionist in the reception office. So we're going to identify them. Then we'll look at what each document is used for. The first document is the visitor's book. The second one is the request form. The third one is the business card. The fourth one is the telephone message pad. We have 4 documents handled by a receptionist in the reception office. Now let's look at what each document is used for. The first document we have here is the visitor's book. Remember, in one of our videos, that's the receptionist, we identified one of the major duties of a receptionist as receiving and attending to visitors. So when a visitor calls into the organization, the receptionist is meant to make the visitor's book available in the reception office. This visitor's book is a book that is used to take down information of every visitor that calls into the organization. The visitor's book is a book that has columns for the visitor's name, the address of the visitor, the date of the visit, the person the visitor has called to see. Remember, that office is like a general office. So anyone who has called in to see any member of staff passes through that office. So the person the visitor has called to see, the name is appended in the visitor's book. The time in, that's the time the visitor came in. Then when the visitor is leaving, the visitor is expected to put the time out and append his or her signature. The essence of having all those details is to be able to monitor the in and out of visitors into the organization. And it's for the officials or the administrators to know the rate at which visitors come in and leave the organization. So this book is meant to be handled by the receptionist in the reception office. The book is kept in the reception office, and once a visitor calls in, the book is given to the visitor to put in this information. It can also be done by the receptionist on behalf of the organization. The only thing you can do for the visitor is to put the signature. So the visitor has to put all those details in the visitor's book so that their movement can be properly monitored. The second document is the request form. The request form. The request form is an internal document. This request form too is kept in the reception office. This is a form that collects the name. That means you fill in the name and the address of the visitor, identify who the visitor has called or who the visitor wishes to see, then the purpose of the visit. Also, you indicate on the request form if the visitor has a prior appointment or not. The essence of this request form is for you to get the details of the visitor and take it to the official he or she wants to see. It is from there that to be noted if the visitor is welcomed or not. If, for example, the director is in the office, it's not just anyone that is allowed to go in and out. Once the visitor calls in, he or she fills the visitor's book to have the details. Then before the visitor is allowed to go into the director's office, the request form has to be filled appropriately, put in the name, the address, the name of the director, the purpose of visit, and you indicate if the person has an appointment or not. Then this form now is taken to the director for verification. It is from there the director will indicate if he wants to see the visitor or not. That is the essence of the request form. It's one of the major documents handled by the receptionist in the reception office. The third major document that can be found in the reception office in care of the receptionist is the business card. The business card is a small card basically used for introducing one's business or what someone is into another person or to another organization. Every formal organization is expected to have a business card. The essence of the business card can be used for introduction. It can even be used for advertising. If, for example, you meet someone that you know, you can hand the person your business card so that the person can get one or two details of you from the card. It is basically for introducing your business to other individuals or other organizations. So in the reception office, the business cards of the organization can be kept there. So if any visitor calls in, the visitor can be given the business card so that the person can know other things that the organization is into for further visitation. So on it, there are some details that can be found on the business card. The business card contains a summary of what should be known about the organization, like the name of the company is written on the business card, then the person who has the card, the position of the person who owns the card. For example, in an organization, all the members of the board of directors, they can have business cards. An accountant can have a business card. The manager can have a business card. The director can have a business card. So on it, you put your name, you put the name of your organization, and the position you are holding in that organization. You put your name, you put the position you are holding, then you have a summary of what is being done in the organization. The few details of the services rendered by the organization. The few details are put on the business card. Your address is on the card. The address of the company, not your own personal address, is on the card. Your phone number and the number of the phone number of the organization can also be put on the card. The email address, the company's website, all these are details that can be put on the business card for proper introduction of your business to others. So instead of you going from one place to another and talking, you can give people your business cards as a means of introducing yourself or your business to them, for them to know what and what you are into, and for them to be able to use the details on the card to visit your organization. So another name we can give to a business card is a complimentary card. We can also refer to a business card as a complimentary card. A complimentary card. The last document handled by a receptionist is the telephone message pad. The telephone message pad. The telephone message pad, remember, one of the duties of the receptionist is to receive and make telephone calls. So the telephone message pad is also one of the documents kept in the reception office, handled by the receptionist. The telephone message pad is made up of printed sheets for recording telephone messages. It's a big booklet that has plenty of sheets inside, that the sheets are used to record your telephone conversations, mostly telephone conversations received into the organization on other people's behalf. And the essence of having this telephone message pad is to prevent omission of essential information. You know, sometimes as a receptionist, you have a whole lot of work to do. You are receiving visitors, you are attending to them, you are making calls, you are receiving calls, and some other little duties. So if you have received a phone call on behalf of a personnel in the organization, and the details are not taken note of, before the person comes, you might have forgotten. So the essence of the telephone pad is to keep down essential information based on the telephone conversations you have had, either the ones you've given out or the ones you received. It is a message pad that is used to record details of telephone messages. You can also call the telephone message pad the telephone directory. So let's look at what this telephone message pad, what it entails. What are the things that can be taken note of on the telephone message pad? In filling a telephone message pad, there are some points that should be taken note of on the paper. The first one is the date and the time of the call. Once you receive the call on behalf of the organization, you are expected to put the date and the time of the call. The date and the time the person has called. Also, the name of the person the caller spoke with or desired to speak with. If, for example, remember you are working on behalf of some other personnel in the organization, the telephone you have with you is an official telephone, not a personal telephone. So anybody can call that telephone number to speak with any other staff or personnel within the organization. So you are expected to take note of the person that the caller wishes or desires to speak with. Also, you ask for the name, the address, and the telephone number of the caller. If, for example, you are receiving a telephone call on behalf of someone and the person is not on seat, it is essential for you as the receptionist to ask for the name of the person, the address of the person, and possibly the telephone number of the person, so that the person can be called back later. The call can be returned when the person he or she desires to speak with is on seat. So you take down the name, the address of the caller, and the telephone number of the caller. Also, take down the summary of the message received. Take down the summary of the message you received so that you don't forget. Put down the details, the contents of the message received. That's basically the information that has been passed out through the call, so that when the owner of the call comes in, once you present the telephone message pad without you even saying anything. The person gets a detail of the call that has been received on his or her behalf. Lastly, the name or the initials of the person who received the call. Sometimes an organization, you can have more than one receptionist. You can have 2 or 3 receptionists, depending on the size of the organization. So you as a receptionist, you can put your name or your signature or your initial to show that, yes, you received the call on behalf of the person. In case of further information, about the call is needed by the owner of the call. So before you hand over the telephone message pad or before you pass it to the owner of the call, put your name or your initial, put your signature on it, so that in case the person wants to come back to you to ask further questions, the person can know who to direct the questions to. So these are the details found on the telephone message pad. So with this, we'll come to the end of the class. But before we go, let's take a quick recap of what we have learned. In today's class, we started by looking at the reception office. And we defined the reception office as a place within the organization where all visitors visiting the organization are attended to and received. Now remember that these duties are carried out by the receptionist. The receptionist works in the reception office to receive and attend to visitors. So while the receptionist is carrying out his or her duties in the reception office, there are 4 basic documents in the reception office that he or she needs to work with. The first one is the visitor's book. We have the request form, we have the business card, and we have the telephone message pad. And we explain the visitor's book as a book that is used to get the details of all visitors that visited the organization. On the visitor's book, you put the name of the visitor, you put the purpose, you put the address of the visitor, you put the person he or she has called to see, the purpose of the visit, you put the time the person came in, the time out, then the person appends his signature before he leaves. We have the request form. The request form too is used to take down the name of the visitor, the purpose of the visit, the official he or she wants to see, and is used to indicate if the person has a prior appointment or not. This form now is taken to the official to decide if he or she is to be seen or not. We have the third document, which is the business card, otherwise known as a complimentary card. The business card is basically used for introducing your business to other individuals and other organizations. So in an establishment where they have business cards, the business cards can be kept with the reception office or in the receptionist, in the reception office. So any visitor that calls in can be given the business card to be able to get more information about the organization. Then the last one is the telephone message pad. And we said the telephone message pad is basically used for taking down telephone messages. If an officer is not on seat and you as a receptionist, you have received a call on behalf of the official, it is essential for you to take down some notes about the call you have received. The name of the caller, the date and the time the person called, put down the summary of the message, put your initial, that's you who received the call, put your initial on it. This is for the person who owns the call to be able to get information about the call once he or she arrives. So this is what we have in today's class, the reception office. But before we go, let's take some questions from our ExamGuide app. Remember that the ExamGuide app is one of the best apps that can help you to study very well for your exam. It has all the subjects, different subjects for different examinations, for WAEC, for NECO, for BESE, for JAM, any exam that you want to write. The ExamGuide is the best app for you. So let's take some questions from the exam guide. Let's answer some questions from there. This is to ensure that we have understood everything taught in today's class. The first question I have says, the first place of contact where visitors are welcomed into an organization is? We have the general office, we have the reception, we have the manager's office, we have the bursary, we have the counselor's office. With what we have learnt in today's class, we have been able to establish that a place where visitors are welcomed, received, and attended to in an organization is the reception office. So the answer is B, the reception office. Let's take another question. It says, which of the following is not a quality of a receptionist? We have self-confidence, sound knowledge of the organization, good command of English language, nonchalant attitude to visitors, punctuality to work. So let's take the options one after the other. The first one, self-confidence. Self-confidence is a quality that a receptionist must possess. A receptionist must have a sound knowledge of the organization. This helps you to pass the necessary information to every visitor that calls in. A receptionist should have a good command of English language and must have a fluent communication skill. A receptionist should also show punctuality to work. But nonchalant attitude to visitors is a negative quality that a receptionist should not portray. So the answer here is D, nonchalant attitude to visitors. Let's take another question. It says the following are documents handled by a receptionist, except we have the business card, the request form, the sales book, the telephone directory, and the visitor's log book. In today's class, we identified 4 documents handled by a receptionist in the reception office. The first one we looked at is the visitor's log book, that's option E. We looked at the request form, which is option B. We looked at the business card, otherwise known as a complimentary card, which is option A. We looked at the telephone message pad or the telephone directory, which is option D. So the odd one here, the odd one out is option C, sales book. Sales book is an office document. It's not a document handled by the receptionist. Sales book is an office document that is used to keep record of all sales transactions. Mostly we have the cash sales and the credit sales. These are the things we keep in the sales book. So the answer here is option C, sales book. Another question says the visitor's book in an organization is handled by dash. The visitor's book in an organization is handled by dash. Is it handled by a clerk, or handled by a director, or handled by a receptionist, or handled by a secretary, or handled by a security? With what we have learned in today's class, we identified the visitor's book as one of the books handled, or one of the documents handled by a receptionist in the reception office. So the answer is option C, the receptionist. We take another question. It says the reception office is usually located near dash. The reception office is usually located near, is it near the chief accountant, or near the director's office, or near the entrance of the building, or near the manager's office, or the security department? We said the reception office is the first office that a visitor enters to be received and to be attended to. And basically this office is located at the entrance of the building. It's located at the entrance of the building before any other office, which is option C, the entrance of the building. We take one more question. We have the question. The question says we have the column for date, the name of visitor, the address of visitor, the telephone number of visitor, the department of person to be seen, the purpose of visit, any previous appointment, comments from department or person to be seen, and the date. And the question says, the format above is an example of whatever has been specified here, the name of the visitor, the address. The format here states details on which office or which document handled by a receptionist. Is it appointment list or request form or the telephone message pad or the visitors list or the visitors register? The answer here is option B, the request form. I explained the use of the request form, and I said the request form is used to take down the record of visitors, the name, their address, the department of person to be seen, the purpose of visit, and it's also used to state if the person has a previous appointment or not. So the answer is option D. So these are the questions we are going to take from today's class, and I believe any question concerning this topic should be easy for you to answer based on how we have been able to explain what each document handled by a receptionist is. Whatever document we have explained today, you should be able to answer any question relating to it for any exam. So with this, we come to the end of today's teaching, and I believe you have learned a lot. So see you in the next video. Bye for now.